Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday, February 9th, and I was kind of like in the beginning of the book this morning, but I had a lot of lab work to do today, and so I listened to a bunch of it, and I am now, I think, 54% in or something like that. And that is the Lightning Struck Heart, which is my last romance book for my romance video, which I am very excited about. And so I am just over halfway through that. And I mean, I actually stopped like there because I wanted to do a halfway update for like that video, because I could have listened to at least another hour and a half, because I really had a lot of lab work today, and especially I had a lot of time in the cells. I was in the cells for like 3 hours, and yeah, I was kind of dying at the end. Like, my supervisor got there at the end and she said that like I looked like I couldn't look at cells anymore, and I was like, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. And so yeah, I am over halfway through that, and that is the first book in a series that I don't remember the name of. I guess look it up. I was too lazy to do that for the update that I filmed for that video, but I guess I can. Okay, it's the first book in the Tales from Verania, I guess, series. And we are following Sam, and this book starts out like in a wild way, because it opens up with Sam as a prisoner, and he is a prisoner with his friend, a unicorn, and they are the prisoners of some villain who is like monologuing. And then their friend, who is a giant, gets there, and the three of them manage to make it out. And all of this happens in the first chapter. And then we are following Sam, like learning about his life, and he is the apprentice of the king's wizard, and so he will be the next king's wizard. And we see his life in the castle, we meet his family, we meet other people that he interacts with, and he has a crush on a knight. And that knight, it's not just any knight, he is the prince's boyfriend, and a bit later the prince's fiance. And sometime later, Sam is out with the prince, and they get attacked by a dragon, and the prince is actually taken by that dragon. And so now Sam and the knight and a couple other people are going on a mission to get the prince back. And so Sam and the knight are spending more time together and, you know, getting closer. And I'm actually having fun because, like, I don't particularly care about the romance. I don't dislike it, I just don't care. But I do really like the characters, they're really fun. And the world is really fun. And all the different types of characters. And not just like different beings, but also different personalities, I guess. And different people that we are meeting in different areas of the world. And like, I'm having a lot of fun with all of that, and I definitely do really like our main character. And like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm not like obsessed with it because it is, you know, more romance heavy than I would personally prefer, but still, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time for sure. This is definitely being my favorite from like that video, or like all the romance books for that video. So it's going well. I am having a good time, and yeah, that's that. And so I want to finish that, obviously, in the next couple days. And I want to try to finally make some progress in Words of Radiance, because I started reading this book like maybe a month ago, and then I just stopped. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, I was definitely really enjoying it, but I've been so tired. And I mean, I'm still very tired, like I'm already exhausted and it's only Monday. But this book takes a lot of brain power, and I have like none, and I still have none, but hopefully I will get back to it at some point, because like I said, I was really enjoying it, and I do want to, you know, keep reading. I do want to keep learning about what's happening, because things, like very interesting things were happening at the moment where I stopped, which is like the beginning of part 3. So like, I do want to get back to it. I just need to be like the right mindset, I guess, to read it. So yeah, there is that. And there are a couple books, I think, coming out this week that are not like in my list of my top anticipated reads, but they're definitely like books that I'm interested in reading. So, maybe I will get to one of those. I don't know. It's a possibility. And yeah, this weekend I'm going to hang out with my friends. On Saturday we're gonna do an escape room, which I'm very excited about. I haven't gone to an escape room in forever, like over 2 years, I would say, probably. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. And then we're gonna have dinner, and then it's gonna be 4 of us. And then after dinner, my bestie and I are gonna come back here. We're gonna have a sleepover. We're gonna watch the Winx Club, and hopefully we're gonna finish season 7, because in our last sleepover we started season 7. We got halfway through, so hopefully we can watch the second half in this sleepover. And I say that, and like I'm always the one who doesn't want to watch it. Like we're watching it, I'm like I don't want to do this anymore, and like want to watch something else. Like I'm saying hopefully we'll finish, but like if we don't, it will be 100% my fault. So just saying. And yeah, that's it. I think that is all that I had to say for this intro. Those are all of my plans, and yeah, welcome to the vlog. Hello, so it is Friday, and I did mean to update you earlier in the week, but I've just been very tired. Like this week has been like basically as tiring as other weeks, but I think I've been like sleeping less, and therefore I am more tired, so like, I've just been too tired to do much. But I was gonna update you, like the plan was to update yesterday, but then for some reason my allergies decided to just attack me for some reason, and literally I don't know the reason why. Like I don't know why my allergies got so bad. Also, if I look dead, which I think that I do, is because that is exactly how I'm feeling. Although I am feeling better today, but I am definitely like not good, and I think you can probably tell from my voice. At least I sound weird to myself. But yeah, my allergies for some reason, like yesterday, like in the afternoon, went crazy. I did take like my, extra strong allergy meds when I got home, and so like I did feel a little better. And with a little better, I mean I didn't have to be blowing my nose every 10 seconds, which is how I was like at work. Like towards the end of the workday, I literally, like I was blowing my nose, I put the tissue down and I had to pick it back up because I needed to blow my nose again. That's how bad it was. And so I took one of my meds and I did feel better. And like now I'm even better than that, because that's supposed to be taken like 3 days in a row, like one a day for 3 days. So like at this moment in time, I've already taken 2. So like I am definitely feeling better. I am not needing to blow my nose as often, but I'm still feeling like very stuffy, and I just don't feel good in general. But thankfully, like no sinusitis crisis, so like my head doesn't feel like it's gonna explode, so that's great, that's fantastic. And so yeah, that's why I'm only updating now on Friday nights, technically Saturday, because it's definitely way past midnight. And I do have reading updates to tell you about. I have 3 books actually to tell you about, because
Firstly, I finished the romance that I was reading, which is The Lightning Struck Heart. And I definitely enjoyed it more than the other romances that I read for the romance video. And I really, really like the characters and I really like the world. Like, that was definitely all very fun and very wild. Like, there was not a single moment in that book that I could have predicted what was going to happen next. Like, not a single one. So, like, it was definitely very fun. There were a lot of creatures, a lot of magic, and that all I did really like. And yeah, like I said, I really like the characters. They were all very funny, and I definitely really liked the main character. And yeah, like, I had a good time with them, but especially like towards the ending, it was, you know, focusing a lot on the romance, obviously, because it was a romance book. And it's not like I disliked the romance, but I just didn't particularly care. Like, I cared about the main character, his love interest, honestly, like, I kind of couldn't care less, but I cared about the main character. But, you know, their romance, I just was like, it was fine, it was okay. I didn't dislike it, but I also, you know, I wasn't invested in it. So yeah, it was honestly, like, the actual rating, I guess, would be 3.75, but I don't really do that, so I had to figure out if it was closer to 3.5 or 4, and I think it's closer to 3.5 because, like I said, especially towards the ending, it was really a lot about the romance, and I was like, I don't really care about any of this. So yeah, I think it's a 3.5, which is a good rating, and it means that I had fun with the book. And yeah, definitely a win. And yeah, it was actually a good time. It was very, very, very funny. And yeah, so that was that. Then I made some progress. Finally, not much progress, but some progress in Words of Radiance. I think I was on page 460 something, and I am now on page 521. So I read, I don't think, even 60 pages. So in a book this massive, that is nothing, but it's 60 pages more than where I was. I am on chapter 42, and I'm still really enjoying it. I'm just, like I said, I've been so tired, and I'm not having all the mental capacity that this book requires. But I did make some progress, and I am enjoying what I am reading. And yeah, that was that. And then yesterday and today I read another book. Like, I started yesterday and I finished it today, and that was Disciples of Chaos, which is the second and final book in the Seven Faceless Saints duology. And so in that series, and I guess I'm going to talk about the plot of the first book so I don't spoil it, instead of, you know, talking about the plot of the second. And so we follow Ross and Damien, and they live in a world, or like in a city, where there are, you know, there are 7 saints that are worshipped, and there are the disciples of those saints, and the disciples have like a bit of the power of like the saints. And Ross, like, her father was actually killed by the military, so she is joining like a rebellion, but she kind of wants to like destroy them from the inside. So she is kind of like tapping into her powers, and she becomes one of the disciples of Patience, who's like one of the saints. And then at the same time, we have Damien, who's like part of the guard, the security of the Palazzo, which is where the disciples and stuff live. And they actually, like, Ross and Damien, they knew each other from their childhood, and they had like some fallout that we eventually learn about. And there is like a murder at the Palazzo. One of the disciples appears dead, and so Damien, as, you know, part of the security, he obviously has to work on, you know, the murder, solving the murder. And Ross actually also gets interested in learning why that person died, and so they, you know, eventually do end up working together to investigate. And then there are some more people that appear dead, and they see that, you know, it's all connected, and it's part of like some ritual for something. And I think I gave the first book 4 stars, and I did enjoy it. Obviously, I gave it 4 stars, and at the end there was like some, you know, great reveal. And in this book we get like even more reveals, and we learn that there was something that we thought had sort of been fixed in the first book, but it turns out it kind of wasn't. And the characters go on like a quest. They leave like the area where they were in the first book, and they see more of the world, which was definitely very fun. And we also learn more about the gods and like their history, their past, their connections to each other. and I definitely enjoyed it. But I don't know if it's because I read the first book so long ago, and so I wasn't really like that connected to the characters or the story or anything really anymore. But I never really got that invested in it. Like, I definitely had fun, and I did like to learn about all of the fantasy elements, but I was just never like, that into the story, to that like connected. So I think I'm also giving this one 3.5 stars. So yeah, that is what I have read, and like I said, I finished that earlier today, and that's it in terms of reading updates. But I also got some books in the mail, and I got the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, which is the last series in the Realm of the Elderlings world, which is crazy because that is a long series. And so these are the books. They are really pretty. They're really shiny, as you can tell. It just kind of pisses me off that they don't really match the other books in the series. Like, they kind of do. Like, the font and the sort of layout of the covers, like, they do, but the colors, they don't. Because the covers of all other series are, like, white-ish, and then have, like, colors in the letters and drawings and stuff. But, like, the background is white-ish, and these ones aren't. And so, like, they're really pretty, but it kind of bothers me that they don't fully match all of the other series. But anyway, we have Fool's Assassin, which, like I said, very shiny, very pretty. Like, they're all floppy-ish. They're not like extremely floppy, but they're like, floppy-ish. So that's also very fun. Then we have this Fool's Quest, also pretty shiny. And then we have Assassin's Fate, which is like blue and gold, copper? I guess more copper. I don't really know. And yeah, also pretty. And this one is the very last book in this world, which is crazy. But yeah, I finally have these books, and so I was gonna say I'm gonna read them soon, but knowing myself, I probably won't. But yeah, I finally have them, and yeah, I'm very excited, and they're very pretty. And yeah, I just wish they matched the rest of the series better, but it's okay. And yeah, those are all of my book-related updates. Other than that, I don't think anything really happened. Maybe I just don't remember, because like this week has been a blur. Like, I have no idea what happened in this week, to be honest. I just know that there have been like some more storms, because there are like 2 or 3 storms a week since the year started, every week. So that's crazy. And not one of the main roads of Portugal, like the main road highway of Portugal, fell apart. So that happened because actually I have no idea how to say that word in English, but like something that is like the river goes under the highway, and something there collapsed, and so the water was going through a place that it shouldn't be going through, and so that part of the road collapsed, and so that happened. Tomorrow I think is gonna be the only day that is sunny, which for me personally is very fortunate, because it's like the day that I have to be out of the house to meet up with my friends. So it's very fortunate that it's gonna be sunny, but like all the other days, raining, stormy, windy, crazy weather. So yeah, on Sunday the terrible weather is gonna return. But yeah, like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna hang out with my friends, and we are gonna go to the escape room. I think I already mentioned this in the intro. We're gonna go to the escape room, we are gonna go have dinner, and then my bestie is gonna come over here, and we're gonna have our sleepover. And I'm very excited for all of that. I just hope I feel better tomorrow. Like, it's even hard to talk for a long time, because the more I talk, the more like my nose feels like stuffy. So not fun. So yeah, I hope I do feel better. And yeah, I think that is all. I've been talking for 14 minutes. Saying what? Honestly, what have I been saying? So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make any progress in Words of Radiance, because tomorrow I don't think that I will be reading much, if anything, because I do need to film a video, and edit that video before I go meet my friends. And then on Sunday, my best is gonna be here for like a big part of the day. So if I do read, it's only gonna be at night. So yeah, I don't think I'll be reading much, and I don't think I'll be reading Words of Radiance, but I also don't know what else I will be reading. I have like absolutely no idea. But yeah, that is it for now. Those are all the updates that I had. And honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to film / will have anything to say during the weekend. So if I do, I will talk to you at some point during the weekend. If not, I'll just talk to you on Monday to wrap up the vlog. Okay, so it's Monday and I'm here to wrap up this vlog, and I did start a book, but I only got 37% into it, so not that much, but I did start a book, yay me. And so after I talked to you, when did I even talk to you? I don't even remember if it was Friday or Saturday. Anyway, on Saturday, I went to meet up with my friends. We had dinner. Oh, we went to the escape room first and we made it out. I think we took 55-ish minutes and it was very fun. It was very, very, very fun. And then we had dinner and we went to a Korean place and it was really good. I forgot to film the food, which I think is a crime. I have been told by my mom that I should have at least, taken a photo for her to see, and I forgot. I only have photos of like the first thing we ate, because like we ordered everything to share, and so I only have like a photo in the video of the first thing, and then I just got distracted by the food and the company, I would assume, and I just forgot. But it was all very, very good and it was very fun. And then me and my bestie came over and we watched The Winx, and I think we only watched like 3 episodes maybe, like on Saturday nights, and then we were just talking about God knows what until 7 a.m. quite literally 7 a.m. And then on the next day we finished season 7 of The Winx Club. We only have 1 season left. That is crazy. Also this season, I think I said like when we watched the first half that it was better than season 6. Absolutely take it back. It was trash. It was terrible. It was also the ending. What the actual fuck? We hated it. So yeah, it wasn't great. Not that any of them have been great, apart from season 1, maybe 2. None of them have been great, and it is kind of torture, but also kind of fun because I'm watching it with her. You know what I mean? But yeah, we finished watching that season 7. Yay us! We only have 1 season left, so hopefully we finish it this year because we've been watching it for like 3 years now, which is crazy. But now, like, I think maybe at the end of season 5, not entirely sure, we started watching it at like 1.5 times speed, so that's definitely helping. And yeah, that was that. And so the book that I started reading was Those Beyond the Wall, which is the second book in the Space Between Worlds, I think, duology, which is like sci-fi dystopian-ish. And so in the first book, we were following a character called Kara, and basically like in the world that she lives in, people can like travel to other worlds, like basically sort of like parallel realities worlds, but you can only travel to a world where like the version of you of that world is not alive. And Kara, like the other versions of her, most of them are not alive, so she is a great candidate for those travels. And so we are following her as she, goes on these travels. And then I think there are only like 8 other Karas left alive, and then one of them dies under mysterious circumstances. And so there is a whole new world for her to explore, and she goes to that world and like uncovers some things, and like there's crazy things happening. And so this book is not really like a direct sequel because it is set like in the same world, but we're not really following the same characters, and like the whole plot line of the first book does finish in the first book. And so in here we are following Scales, and this is set like after, I think like some years after the first book. And so we're following Scales, and like she comes across like someone basically dying in like in a gruesome way, but there is no sign of anyone killing that person. They're just, you know, dying by themselves. And so like, what the hell is going on? And then more bodies start appearing, like sort of in the same circumstances. And so she starts investigating that, and I'm assuming that will have something to do with the travel between worlds. But like I said, I'm only 37% in, so like I know some things, but I still, there's like a lot that I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I'm liking to be back in this world, although I think I am missing like Kara and like the people that she surrounded herself with. Not that I don't like Scales and like her people, although maybe I don't really like them, but they're like definitely interesting characters. But I think I was more connected to Kara. Also, I obviously spent a whole book with her, and I'm only just in the first third, basically, of, you know, this one with Scales. But anyway, that is it. That is what I have read. That is what I have done since I last talked to you. And so to wrap up what I read this week, so I finished the Lightning Struck Heart. I read 55 pages of Words of Radiance, which I don't even know, to be honest, if I mentioned at any point. But, you know, it was such little progress that if I didn't mention, that's because it wasn't worth mentioning. But I did read 55 pages of that. Then I read Disciples of Chaos, and I started Those Beyond the Wall, and that was 967 pages. And I'm very happy with that. That is actually more than I was expecting to read, especially like with the sleepover and like the dinner with my friends and all of that. Definitely more than I expected. And yeah, that is everything for this weekly reading vlog. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!